she's fine. Campo Reds, call it mine. Wine and dine at a fly casino. Head to the club with Ben, Dog, and Neo. Dago Trio, spend my C-No by the dozen. Don't trust me or my drunk ass cousin. Yeah, we buzzin'. Sticky perps when we clubbin', just like Pac. We be thuggin', I be lovin'. Dago chicks, especially when I put 'em in the mix. Grab by the hips, deja vu, real big tips, brand new kicks, and we sportin'. See me at Horton, spending cash, radio play, blowing up fast.
Coming from the 619, Campo Dago, we blow your mind. Coming from the 619, Campo Dago, we blow your mind.
Dirt bike tracking, I'm still macking. Y'all can't win, cause I'm still packing heat. Talk about yet like y'all can beat 'em, or just meet 'em. Breed 'em sick, native click. Stick together, do it better. I can take it through the weather, hot, cold. Doesn't really matter, I'm just fatter, buying beats. I'm just picky, chronic sticky. Leave my mark like a hickey. Sticky greens for my team. It ain't that hard to move my product to your city. We ain't greedy, $1,000,000, brand new trucks. Y'all get stuck, test my luck.
Coming from the 619, Campo Dago, we blow your mind. Coming from the 619, Campo Dago, we blow your mind.
Echo Park after dark, that is where my limo parks. Sing Ray, if you ain't hot, better stay away. This is where them big shots play. Cashing in VIP with all my friends. SD, home of the POD. Hands in the air for GOD. Faith is a must when you roll with me. And you can't trust no native from OC. Homie, mix it up like cards in the deck. Bet on you to bring the tech. Respect my verse. It don't take much to put 'em in a hearse. 619, blow your mind.
Coming from the 619.